Well, we're at it again, guys. Another episode, another week, another month, another year. Not another year, same month as last time. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Another episode of the weekly daily podcast. It is me, Ben Dailey. I'm checking in from this low level couch that I'm gonna excuse me for moving around like this, but I'm gonna try to get comfortable. Hopefully the levels on this are gonna be okay. I'm trying some new stuff out. I'm all out of sorts with everything here. I'm in a new apartment here where you can just hear everything. You just hear everything. I mean, my neighbors are hearing what I'm saying right now, okay? And it's tough to be silly and goofy when people are listening. So we'll see what we can do. I bumped the levels up and I'm trying to talk a little bit quieter. So we'll see how that comes out in editing. But thanks for tuning in. I've got a headset on that doesn't work. It half works. I've got volume coming out of one ear. And I'd like to just warn you guys against the company, this crappy headset that I've bought. I've got some beef that I'd like to air out. I can only hear out of one headphone, okay? And I bought these like 3 months ago. You know, a lot of podcasts, this is what I was going to say, a lot of podcasts have sponsors. This is an anti-sponsor. This is a do not buy from this stupid company, One Audio, ONEODIO.com. Don't do it. I bought these like 3 or 4 months ago. I got them for work and for podcasting, and I use them for PlayStation 5 so I can chat with the buddies. And last week they just stopped working in one ear. They're working in my right ear. The volume's coming through my right side, not coming through my left side. And so I reached out to the customer support, and they were like, okay, get us like the order number, if you can send a video, blah, 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 you know, all the steps. And I did all that stuff. I sent them a video. Like, it's really kind of a tough, it's not a tough thing, but it's a couple steps to like video headphones that are only working on one side. So I went through the whole process. I did it. I sent it to them, and we went back and forth, and they were like, well, this is literally what they said. I am not exaggerating. They go, after getting me to send all this stuff, they go, oh, you need to send it to oneaudio.com and see if they can help you out. And I was like, I literally went to oneaudio.com and emailed you based on the email that it told me to email, which is info@oneaudio.com. You've been replying to me 6 or 7 times. I was like, what are you even talking about? Go to oneaudio.com. And then it's Shelly is her name, which I guarantee is not her name. She's a liar. She's got a false identity out there, but she just goes, well, reach out to Amazon to see if they can replace it. And I was like, yo, you're the manufacturer. What are you talking about if Amazon can, like, the package was delivered. There's no issue via Amazon. Because here's the confusing thing too. It was not, it was like half bought through Amazon. It was this weird thing. So oneaudio.com, I went there, and there's an option to buy through Prime, through Amazon Prime on the One Audio website. And that's what I did. So it was like kind of half through Amazon. Like, it doesn't show up on my orders, but in my email, it has like, it's a weird thing. And so I was like, I literally emailed back because we've been going back and forth for like the last week. I just need to like have a headset that works for work and, you know, for this very popular podcast that I've got going on. And I was just like, look, can you help me replace it or not? If not, then I'm never buying this product again. And I'm telling every person that I know to never buy from here again. You got to get sassy with them. I hate doing it. Don't like, I'm not actually recommending that, but unfortunately with customer service nowadays, it's just so bad. Like you have to turn into a Karen. You have to throw a fit. to get anything done. Because otherwise, they're just like, well, you paid $100 for a headset that doesn't work, and sorry. And it's like, nuh-uh. There's a warranty on this that you have on your website that shows like a year or whatever it is, and I'm getting it. And it's not until you like throw the gauntlet down that they're like, okay. It's like, why do you have to make me seem like a jerk to just get the warranty that you promised, that you put out on your product? It's so silly. Anyways, I don't really like hearing the microphone just come out of my right ear. It's too quiet. I need to get some new ones so I can not hear anything outside myself. But speaking of Amazon, I've been buying a lot of stuff on Amazon recently. I've been on a real Amazon bender. I gotta slow it down. It's been not great. In my defense, I am in a new place, so I'm getting stuff that I need to like fill out the apartment. But it's just a lot. I'm buying little things here and there. And when you do that too, it's very easy to just buy a bunch of stuff and like half of it doesn't actually work for what you're looking to use it for. So you're just like, well, that was a big waste. But I bought, let's go through some of the stuff. I've gotten a couple lights. I've gotten some kitchen stuff. I got a Ninja blender, which, by the way, it's good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it chops stuff up. I guess that's good. But I thought it would be a lot easier to clean. I thought it was like expensive because it's like, hey, it's good, but also like convenient to clean because it's a pain to clean a blender. And I've been making a shake every morning. And let me tell you what, it's not. It's just the same as, if not more complicated than every blender you have. You get the blade. Yeah, I might have talked about this last time. It's obnoxious. But yeah, I've been buying a lot of stuff. I got some more stuff coming in today. I got my desk, my big desk coming in a couple weeks. So we're getting there, guys. We've got the apartment coming together here a little bit. I will say, like I said, my neighbors can probably hear what I'm saying here. Sorry, guys. Sorry. The Weekly Daily Podcast. Give it a listen and give it a thumbs down. I don't care. But everybody outside can probably hear me as well because get this, guys. It is 100 degrees in this apartment. It is so hot. I don't get it. I don't understand how buildings work and how heating systems work, but it's really hot. And what happened is I moved in basically a week ago, a week and a couple of days ago. And right around the time I moved in is when like the fall weather started to come in, and I think they cut the heat on for the building. Now, I'm almost certain, I'm trying to double check with the property manager at the moment. Hasn't emailed me back. That's another thing that's bothering me a little bit. I hate when it's like, here's a simple question. Can you please respond to me? But again, I used to work for property management, and that's what people do. They just don't care at all. So, but basically, it was my understanding that like all the utilities were included in the apartment for, included, quote unquote, for a separate cost. So it's like I'm still paying extra for it, except for the electricity. So it was my understanding that, okay, you have control, because there's also a temperature control in here. So it's like, I'm assuming that I can control the heat. But the heat turned on and it's been coming out. And not only that, the floors, I'm on the ground level, the floors in certain spots are super hot. So I think there's like hot pipes or HVAC stuff underneath my floor, which, whatever that means, I don't have the heat on in my apartment, but it has been 80 degrees and I've had to open every single window just to get it to like 75 degrees. I woke up this morning at like 4:30 and it was so hot. So I don't know what to do, guys. That's kind of a bummer. I was pretty worried about it at first, if I'm being honest. And with the windows being open, it's like, okay, I think it's going to be manageable, but it's also like dust coming in, and if it rains and if it snows, I'm on the ground level. Like the windows are literally at the ground, and there's a couple ants crawling around. I'm like, oh gosh, ants are going to crawl through the screen and come, like these bugs are going to be looking for warm space. So we'll see. Knock on wood, or wherever wood is, that it's not a huge issue, but we'll find out. I hate these headphones, dude. This is not hearing yourself out of one ear. Somehow, hearing yourself in 50% of your ears is 200% worse than two ears. I don't know if that made sense, but anyways, guys, it's, I just ate a big old pasta lunch. I'm trying not to fall asleep right now. It's been a better week. If you guys tuned into the last podcast, I apologize. That was a real sad one, and you know what? That's just where I was. That's where I mentally was last week. It was a rough week the previous week, and last week was not easy, but I stuck to a routine. I've been eating healthier. I've been doing the things I need to do to feel better and healthier, and I've been feeling better pretty much every day. So still a little ways to go with just, going through a breakup and dealing with that, and, but now I'm able to deal with it in like the normal manner of not whatever extra baloney I had going on last week. That was some wild stuff. It is crazy. I mean, even though I still, want to do the things to feel better and better, where I feel now versus where I felt last Saturday, like a week and a couple of days ago, is it's insane. It's kind of crazy that your brain can't even do that. Like the range your brain has to go from happy to the saddest you've ever been. You're like, that's pretty, if that would be like if a singer could do all the highest highs and all the baritone lowest lows, but like more than that. That's kind of a shallow analogy, but you guys hopefully know what I'm saying. I think it'll be interesting in the future. I talked to a lot of people about how I was feeling, and also big shout out to all my buddies that I talked to. A lot of you guys had to hear the sad parts, but I appreciate you guys being there. It's get friends. It's good to have friends, family, people that are close to you, so you can talk to them in times of need and not in times of need, and to reciprocate that when that's what friends are for. Help each other. All right, I'm gonna get out of the sappy stuff here, but it is wild though, like your brain and feelings like that. I was talking to a ton of people about it, and it's really hard to like relay how I felt to a lot of people because I don't think a lot of people experience that feeling. And I'm not trying to say that in like I'm not trying to say it in any sort of pretentious way. I'm not trying to sound like I'm better or special or whatever for being sadder than most, but I've said it before, it's like a brain chemistry thing. It's not in the normal realm of like how you feel. And that might be naive of me to say, but I say that based on the fact that for the first 22 years of my life, I never experienced a lot of the sadness, depression, and anxiety that I experienced once I got Lyme disease, which was messing with my body, my brain, my hormones, everything. And it wasn't until Lyme disease that I just experienced a ton of new, really deep, dark, like feelings. And that's kind of the same feeling mindset that I experienced last Saturday. And I don't know if it's connected to chronic Lyme disease and this or that, but it can be hard to describe to a lot of people because it's scary. But I will say, I think in the future, I bet in the future, when we couple ourselves with computers, which I'm not, really looking forward to that necessarily, but I think a result of that will be the ability to experience any and all emotions and feelings without having to like get sick or whatever. So for example, like experience the feelings that someone has when they have Lyme disease, but without getting Lyme disease. You just download that program and it like creates the sensation digitally, so you're not like your body's not actually messed up. Your brain feels those feelings. Same with anything, not just Lyme disease, but depression, anxiety, um, people, anything. People who have diabetes and are low or too high on blood sugar or whatever the case is, like what does that feel like? Just a broken arm, any and all feelings. And as much as connecting us with computers will probably be the end of uh, our species and humanity, and probably not a good thing. The silver lining, I think, at least if we're able to do this and not destroy ourselves before we do this, I think it'll enable us as a society to have more empathy. But once we're all computers, we probably won't even have any of those problems anymore. You'll just download a happy program and you'll just all live happy. And nobody will have problems because we'll all be computers and we'll have no diseases anymore. I don't know. But so I don't know if any of that makes sense, but I could see that happening. And not that I'm not saying any of this stuff because I'm looking for empathy or sympathy. I'm just spitballing, trying to be silly and funny while I really just want to rip this headset in half and throw it at Shelly, the customer service lady, who only responds at like 8 p.m. because she's, in Hong Kong or whatever. But also, this is what I hate. Let me go back to this real quick because this is what Shelly did, and I hate it when customer service people do this. They send you an initial email, and in the initial email, they're like, "Hey, thanks for reaching out. Like, I promise you that I'm here to help, and we are going to resolve this situation for you." And then 10 emails later, they're like, "Well, send Amazon an email, see if they can help you." You're like, "You did not provide me a resolution. Why did you make that guarantee in the beginning?" Because also I could just be complaining and actually not have a faulty product, and ultimately you're like, "Oh, I can't help you out because I can't help you out. You don't have a faulty unit." But I don't know. It's been a decent last week. I've been trying to stay in the routine. My little injury update, guys. I'm feeling better with the shoulder and knee. Slowly but surely getting back to it. I was, and I still am a little worried about the knee, but I've been wearing a knee brace and I've been walking every day. I know, big deal. Been walking, and that has felt okay. I was hesitant and kind of scared for a little bit because my knee was hurting a little bit, and it felt. I don't know if it was in my head or if I truly felt it. It's obviously one of those things when you're kind of dealing with an injury, it's very easy to like get in your head and you're like, is my knee stable? Is it not stable? I'm not sure. But done a lot of walks, and over the weekend I walked like 8 miles on Saturday and 5 miles on Sunday, and I've been doing some non-weighted just body squats to try to strengthen the knee, and I'm feeling better. So I'm hopeful that I'll be able to start running here very soon, and thank goodness, because I need to exert myself exercise-wise. That's one thing that I've been missing. Did do a little Wim Hof breathing, a little meditation, heavy breathing over the weekend, and that did feel good. But that's also another thing too. You don't. I don't know if you're familiar with the meditative breathing, but you're basically hyperventilating, or you're like breathing very deep, and it's very loud. And I did it on my couch right here, which is about 7 feet from the door, which goes to the hallway, which, is right across from another door, my neighbor. And it's just funny to be like, ugh, if people are walking by, just hearing me go, they're just like, they're going to be like, this dude is a weirdo. But fortunately, I have some earplugs that like block out the noise, so you can just pretend that you're by yourself, even though that can make it weird too, where you're like, people might be listening and I don't know, and that also makes me feel uncomfortable. But what can you do? What can you do? I'm going to be moving the podcast back to my room, I think. Once once I get my work desk in, I will switch out the desk I currently have for my work stuff to my room. And I've got a new mic. I'm going to put up some art, hopefully behind, so you guys don't have just a plain whatever wall. And try to get some lighting and make it, just a little more official and a little more fun. And back in my room, I think it'll be a little less paranoia. And you know what? I'm going to talk to Shelly. I'm going to make her give me a new headset. And we'll be able to hear out of both ears and not be so paranoid. But we'll see. We'll see, guys. Speaking of art, I was gonna hang up some art this weekend. Was not able to get around to it because I ordered. Actually, I'll grab it right here. I ordered some 3M wall hooks to like hang the art up, and I think they came in. I don't know if you're watching the video, you can see this is much larger than I thought it would be, and I'm not going to be able to hang anything with this. This is for like kitchen items or like large items. I don't know anything about hanging pictures. I'm very hesitant to do it. These walls, genuinely, I don't know what this is. I don't think it's drywall. I think it's like some kind of plaster that's used for like, I don't know. But given that it's like, I don't think it's drywall, it's like a harder material. I'm just paranoid about like damaging the wall and this and that. So we'll see. Maybe I'll just duct tape some pictures up, and you know what? That'll be my art. That'll be how I break this pad in. But yeah, trying to get back into the routine. Like I said last week was very much day by day. When you're not feeling good, you just day by day, you just one choice at a time, one positive choice of getting good sleep, exercising, cooking, eating the right thing, taking your vitamins, doing everything. And that's what I was doing last week. And it's been tough. I want to be, creative. I'm a creative person pursuing comedy. It's like I want to do all this stuff. I want to write, but I just have not been in the mindset for it. And I kind of cut myself some slack, or like accepted that it's okay last week, where it's like, don't beat yourself up if you're not writing every day when you're going through like a breakup and just dealing with a bunch of stuff. Like, get yourself in a healthy place first. Do what you got to do to do that. And then you can get back to writing. And this morning, I wrote a little bit for the first time in a while. In, a couple weeks. But I would like to be in the routine of writing pretty much every day. I mean, that's just what you have to do. That's how you keep your brain, that's how you train your brain to write in like a joke format. The more you do it, just the more you're like, oh, I know how to structure this out into a joke form. And just the more you write, obviously, the more material you have, the more stuff you're excited about. So looking forward to building some stuff out. I'm going to try to hit some open mics and just work through some new jokes and just get back to the basics of, enjoying comedy for the creative process, and looking forward to that. I did a few shows last week, which were fine. Last weekend I talked about how I was like, oh, dude, it was really hard to host those shows. But last week it was pretty hard to, it was just, just wasn't feeling it. But sometimes you're not feeling it and you still got to do the job, which makes it a little harder when you're hosting and checking people in and have to do the whole customer service thing too. But I actually had quite a few shows last week. I did a show on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The Wednesday show was a show at the Comedy Fort in Fort Collins. It was the competition. I think I talked about it last week on the podcast, but I drove up there for the Comedy Fort competition and did not advance. I think I'm like 0 for 7, 0 for 8 in competitions. I've talked about it before. And I've gotten to the point, if you guys have listened to this podcast before, where I'm done with excuses. I just didn't advance, didn't do well enough. But this is one exception where, similar to what I was talking about like not being creative and kind of giving myself like a break over the last couple weeks. I kind of felt the same way about that for the competition. I was like, honestly, I didn't even really want to drive up there and do it. I'm just not in a good headspace, wasn't feeling great. And just the fact that I went and did it was kind of a win for me. And obviously would have loved to advance, but not many competitions that you do, you're like fresh off of in a relationship that's ended. So I'm giving myself a bit of a pass there for not like bringing the heat. Usually it's like you just got to find that gear, and I got to be better at that. But it was what it was. It was kind of a tight crowd, but it was kind of a tight crowd for everybody. I pulled a good spot, kind of toward the middle of the show, and yeah, just didn't. And I could feel it too. It was fine, but it was kind of like an autopilot thing. I just went through the motions, and I definitely could tell I didn't bring that like in the moment energy and enthusiasm and charisma. So it's okay. I realized it, but also I'm not gonna beat myself up for it given the circumstances. But it was a fun hang. It was good to hang with everybody, the comics in the green room, and yuck it up. That was that was a good time. But did that on Wednesday, and then Thursday did a show. Uh, did a show at Copper and Kettle, I think it was called. It's like a brewery. I think it's in Denver. It's kind of in the Glendale area, kind of eastern Denver, close to getting to Aurora area. But yeah, did a 10-minute spot there. It was a smaller crowd. It was maybe like 8 people, but they were watching and they were having fun. And honestly, because I'm hosting so much now, I appreciate any spots I get. And honestly, even if it's not a great spot, like if it's not a sold out show and it's, just a couple people, I like that as well because it gives me the opportunity to just be in the moment and like have fun or try to have fun or try to figure it out. And it was kind of funny because we talked about or I did some jokes, but also because it was so few people, I was kind of just like being in the moment and asking some questions. And I was talking a little bit about just going through a breakup recently and how it had been tough. And I was asking people in the crowd just like, what do you guys do after a breakup? What do you recommend to do to get over a relationship? And a couple people were just saying silly, goofy stuff. And then this one girl, just in the most genuine way possible, she just goes, "You need to heal." And I was like, "Oh man, that is, you're exactly right. That is the perfect answer." But that's and you're like, I'm trying to be genuine, but I'm also trying to like be funny with it and see if I can find some answers and riff on stuff. And when someone just gives such a genuine answer of like, you need to heal, you need to look in the mirror and just like, move past this and figure out how you can be better moving forward and what you need to do to be. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is too real, lady. Thank you for the answer, but it was too real. So that's what I'm doing. You know what? I'm working on healing. And that was funny though. It is funny when you get caught off guard with like just a genuine answer to a question that you asked. So I don't know why I was caught off guard or surprised, but it was kind of funny. But did that show, then went to a mic afterwards. Hung out at Monkey Barrel for a little while. Didn't even end up going up at Monkey Barrel. Was pretty tired, so ended up going home. But hosted a couple Don't Tells over the weekend, Saturday or Friday and Saturday. They were both pretty fun shows. The show on Friday was at an art gallery that I've done a couple times, and in the past it's been a pretty tight crowd. And this time it was more sold out this time. It was pretty full space, and it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun, and everybody did really well. So it was great to do that. And then after the show, I went to the roast battle, which I haven't done in a while. If you're not familiar, roast battle. Well, if you're not familiar with roast battle in general. It's just where you roast back and forth. It's two comics go against each other and they just say terrible things about each other. And then one of them, there's a judges panel and one of them wins. And it's got the roast scene in Denver has gotten pretty huge over the last year or so. And so a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people go. It was at a bar called Wide Right. And I went and hung out there for a little while, watched it. It was pretty full. It was pretty fun. I'll be honest, I'm still trying to get in the, healthy routine. So by the time it finished, it was 11:45 on Friday. And, I'd worked all day. And so I was super tired. But that was fun. It was fun to just get out and see some people. So did that. And then Saturday, I don't even remember what I did on Saturday. I guess I slept in just a little bit, and then like I said, I walked like 8 miles, which took like 2+ hours. Dude, when you're trying to get mileage in, but you're only able to walk, boy, does that cut into time in your day. I mean, that's what I've been doing. Like, I've been walking during lunch, or just whenever, and it's like you have to walk like a minimum of an hour to get like, just over 3 miles or so. And yeah, so it's been time consuming, but you know what? Got to do what you got to do. So I walked on Saturday, and then I think I went shopping, did a couple other minor things, and then hosted the show at a brewery for Don't Tell, and it was sold out. It was pretty fun. It was kind of a tight crowd, but a couple of the comics did very well. Everybody did fine to well, but they were kind of tight on a couple comics, and then there was like 2 comics that really broke them open, which was great. And yeah, even like I said, over the weekend, I was like, okay, I'm feeling better. I'm ready to go, but just the responsibility of having to host and having to kind of fake smile when I was tired, and just again, just going through the process of healing. I just wasn't, it felt more like work than fun, which is fine. Sometimes it's going to be that, if that's why I'm pursuing this thing as a job, because it is so fun. And you know what? Sometimes it's not going to be fun, but if most of the time it's going to be fun, that is incredible. There's going to be days where you're tired, where you're off, where life is happening, and you got to, battle through it, and that's fine. But that's what this weekend kind of felt like. So I'm looking forward, moving forward. I feel like Sunday, yesterday, and today, Monday, I'm feeling much more just better and better every day. I've talked to a lot of friends and gotten a lot of input to just put me in a good mental place to kind of have an exact idea of what I need to do moving forward to get myself in a better position, and just expectations, everything like that. So that was good, but it was, I'm trying to think if anything interesting happened. They were just kind of regular shows, and came home Saturday, went to bed Sunday, did some more walking. Actually did went to a volleyball game yesterday. So I'm part of that volleyball league. And it was like the last game before the playoffs. And I haven't been going for a couple reasons, but also, because some injuries going on. But they didn't have that many people. We didn't have like any subs, and they had asked me if I could make it, so I went there and kind of hobbled around in the sand. But it was really fun to just go be a part of the community in a fun activity outside of comedy, and to just catch up with everybody. And we won, so I think we ended the season like 5-1. We're gonna be going to the playoffs. I don't know what the schedule is gonna be for that, but yeah, that was a good time. And then the rest of the day, I tried to get some stuff done. Tried to read a little bit. I've been reading. Where's that book at? It's over there. been reading that John Steinbeck book um, about him traveling the country with his dog. And you know what? I mean, not that it's a well-known book that people talk about, but it's kind of whatever. I've got maybe like 100 pages left, so I'll try to go ahead and finish it. But it's kind of him just like recalling his experience driving across the country, but not in the it's just not that intriguing. So it's fine. It's interesting enough, but I've found myself like reading and just kind of, I, I can tell when a book is good, my brain is focused on the book. When I don't enjoy a book as much, I'm like trying to read and my brain is just daydreaming about other stuff. And obviously there's a spectrum there where it's like, how much are you daydreaming? How much have you already read? How much are you retaining? But it's it's been kind of whatever. It wouldn't be a book that I would recommend probably, but I've read a bunch of Steinbeck and he does have some really good stuff. He's got some really mediocre and sub-mediocre stuff as well. But just trying to get through it and pad my stats for the year because it's been not the most productive year in the department of reading books this year. But 2025, I think that's going to be a big year for me. Big numbers in the book department. Let's see what we got here. I jotted down some stuff here. And I think I kind of went all the way through it. What else do I have going on? I got a ton of shows coming up actually. I think in November I've got a show basically every other day. A lot of don't tells. I'm hosting a couple rotating tap shows or maybe just one. I'm going to be on some other shows. I think end of November I'm going to be headlining a show in Colorado Springs. Got a lot of fun stuff coming up. And as much as, there's some moments where you kind of I've felt down and out. The optimism's coming back, and we'll be good. We'll be ready to go. 2025 is going to be a big year. I'm looking forward to it. My throat is so dry right now. I think that's one thing that worries me a little bit with if it's super hot in here because like whatever is going on, if there's boiling plates underneath my floor that just keep my apartment at 80 degrees and I have to keep it's like I've got fans. There's no AC in here, so I can't do that. But if I have to keep the windows open all the time, is that like fluctuation of temperature and air from really cold to less cold or whatever the case, and having to sleep throughout the night with it open, is that going to mess up? Is that going to get me sick? I don't know. I'm a tough boy, okay? I think I can probably handle it. You know, it's interesting. I don't know if anything I've said over the last podcast or two has been funny or interesting, but I hope that it is. It's kind of tough to, like I said, be in a new place here where you're paranoid about people listening in. And if you go full silly mode, I feel like I'm like teetering on silly mode. So I'll get there, guys. I'll get there. Don't you worry. Once I get this headset squared away, I need to get a haircut. I cut my own hair, and I'll probably still keep cutting my hair, but I have noticed it's not. You really do need like a clean cut on the sides, like somebody who knows what they're doing, and I don't. I've just kind of tried to do one length, and it just hasn't worked out. My glasses here, you can see like the hair coming over the glass, whatever side thing that goes over your ear here. The hair, I don't know. I'm not explaining things correctly. I'm almost in a carb coma right now for my lunch. But what else do we got going on? We got a mower outside. There's a lot of distractions now when you live. I'm not even in like the middle of the city. I'm in a good residential area of the city, but once you get more compact, you do realize you're like, okay, there's dogs barking everywhere. There's machinery going on. Who knows what? There's just, I mean, Amazon, I will tell you this, the difference in Amazon from here versus my last place, which was still in Denver, but it was like much further out in Denver. Basically everything now with the address I have that I order, it's like coming the same afternoon or the next day. Whereas everything at the old place was like 2 days was like best case scenario. And then a lot of times it was like, yeah, it's going to take 3, 4, or 5 days, whatever. Amazon's really lost that 2 day promise, 2 day delivery. I feel like they say 2 days and then like, 3 days later they're like, hey, sorry, it's you probably already know this, but it didn't make it. Our bad. But what else is new? Trying to get back to running. Would like to join a run club. Get some community stuff going on. Bought a bunch of tea, caffeine-free tea to have stuff to. I was eating a bunch of fat last week. I'm gonna curve. I'm gonna teeter off that. I'm struggling to recall words right now, but I was eating a bunch of fatty stuff, which can be good and usually is good, but I was eating a lot of like fatty meats, and that really gives me like acid reflux and is not good. It just affects me in a negative way, and it probably affects most people in a negative way. I don't think you're supposed to eat that much fatty stuff. I mean, I have a ton of healthy fatty stuff like yogurt and avocados and fish and stuff like that, but I think I'm going to try to cool it on the higher fat content meat and then focus on eating the healthy fats like the avocado and yogurt and stuff like that, nuts. And so my throat's not all messed up. But all that said, I bought some tea and some throat coat. I actually, like I said, I'm on a real Amazon tear, and I bought a boiling kettle, which my last roommate had. I'd never had before, but it is very convenient to just put water in a thing, turn it on, you come back. You guys get it. Boiling water. We've had boiling kettles forever, but an electronic one that you just put on like a heat pad and it automatically turns off. You don't have to go over and like, the ones that you put on the stove, they like start whistling. You have to run over there and cut them off or take them off. So, that's where we're at. We got what else do we got, dude? It's funny because usually I just ramble and ramble and ramble. In these last couple episodes, I've just struggled to come up with content. I'm coming back into myself, guys. Okay, I'm going to be okay, and I'm going to come back funnier and stronger and have a better hairline. And I'm not going to go bald. I'm going to defeat baldness and be the first almost bald guy that just wills his way to a thick head of hair. That's what they say. They say if you're sad but then defeat sadness, your hair comes back. And I'm ready for it because in the lighting right now, it probably looks pretty thin if you're watching the video. But yeah, higher quality stuff coming, guys. I'm yawning. Ugh. I'm tired. It's also when it's really hot, you get tired, but then it's like hard to sleep. So it's like this weird in between period. I think I'm going to switch from a comforter to a sheet since it's been so hot, which makes sense. If it's hot, don't have a thick comforter on. But also it's just like, I don't know how well I can regulate the temperature. If I'm keeping the window up and the window open and the temperature dips quite a bit during the night, it's like, just am I gonna have to throw on and off blankets and comforters every 2 hours to stay warm enough? I don't know. We'll have to see. I've still got a bunch of stuff I need to do. If you guys made it this far in the episode, genuine question for you: if you know, what's your recommendation for hanging stuff on the wall? Like I said, I bought this stupid 3M thing that, probably won't be able to use at all. But if you have recommendations for the best things to go into plaster, let me know. I don't know what the best option will be, but I'm all ears. Would love to hear your thoughts and input. But yeah, I think we've pretty much made it to 45 minutes. Like I said, guys, it's gonna get better. Just stick with me. I'll have a new setup here, and I'll be more chipper and funny and silly and just back to regular Ben. And with that said, if you guys made it this far, or if you made it at all throughout the episode, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you guys listening, and I'll see you guys again next week.